Aloha and welcome to Loco My Life. And yes, the dog extremely because 5 seconds ago I pulled out their favorite treats, which thank you, dear old Amazon, for delivering yesterday. So I have hey. So how are y'all doing? Okay, first of all, Cassie, shush, thank you. Pia, Wrigley. Yeah, picky. How are y'all doing today? Here we go. First Wednesday back since vacation. And I missed it last week. I had a show last week. It was my last day in San Fran. And we had our last show to go to. And I literally was sitting there at dinner before we went thinking, I would love to be on panel right now. I want to be with all my friends right now. So, but yeah, then I saw the show and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. So anyhow, who do we have in chat? Let's say hi to some people and then I'm going to bring up our gals right after. We've got the grand bun herself, Miss Sherry, who had awesome news and I'm so happy. Oh my God, I bet you're over the moon. Yeah, that is awesome. And Burden is hanging out there. It's been a while since my channel's been up and running, so it's taking a little bit more time for things to get going here. So let's go ahead. Hey, what's Meister? How you doing? Welcome, my dear. Welcome. We might actually have some new people coming in tonight because we have been advertising this out. Many of you guys know Chris. Chris has some amazing, he is there for cold cases. He is always out there pushing cold cases, things like that. And I don't normally get to do the cold cases. So when this panel chat popped up, it was like, okay, what is one that he has been talking about a lot? And Shannon was one of them. So he's actually been talking to people. So we may have some newbies popping in here. So hello. And there's Miss Nicole popping in. No fun stream today. Actually, we probably could have done that because last week did get kind of weird. Oh, didn't he? Well, too late now. And, fun streams are always fun. Friday, Cantina. Definite fun stream. Seal, hello, Miss Seal. So, as LG's here too, hello, Miss LG. Love you, my dear. And let's go ahead and bring up some of my buds and all the gals that I missed hanging out with last week. First, we have Miss Sleuth Mom. How you doing, Sleuthy?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good. I got my caffeine. I'm doing good. Oh, yes.
That's great. Fun stream is actually, we're scheduled to be fun on Bops. That's why this one wasn't a fun stream.
Originally it should have been, and then because of my vacation, and right. Then it was weird.
You're right. I don't even know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I have no idea anymore. I don't either. I just know we all like fun. Definitely.
We just show up and then whatever happens. That's how Wednesdays kind of go.
That's it exactly. So, all right, no problem, Magenta. Hang out and chat. Yeah, okay. But yeah, if you can't talk, we get it. If you're driving, drive safe. I don't know if you're driving, but if you are, drive safe. And here she is, my dear Burden Approved. How you, girl? Hello. I think Burden walked away from the...
Hi. Oh, yeah. I was talking to myself. Oh my gosh. Myself and muting, it's no good. Well, I'm good. I hope you are as well.
Yes. I missed you girls last week. I really missed y'all. So here we go. Now we'll know if it's you, just not mute. I was like, oh, wait. I would have known if I had your name up.
Oh, no, I actually trick myself on that sometimes because I use the headset mute. And so I was walking around when we were talking just before panel. And then I forgot to unmute that part. So I was over here talking. It was your face that let me know I'm not being heard. I'm sorry.
That works. No, that works totally. I know I'll get into sometimes when I'm playing games online. And I'm talking with friends while we're raiding or something like that. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm muted. That's why we totally just got destroyed by the boss. Yeah, or at least that's what I say is the excuse. Okay, excuses are good, and that's usually mine. But yeah. So we are set. It has been a little while. I know Sleuth's not been feeling too good. Burden, you've been getting a lot of good stuff out there. I kept watching your things in between when I was on the BART. I actually watched one of your stuff on in between while I was on the BART. And so, yeah, you've
We
been.
actually have some like good outcomes too now, which makes me so happy. I was on like a strand of bad, and now we have happy. And today there was
Mm,
another one that was found, and
which
uh,
one? Sorry,
Lucas.
I've been in this case so much today.
Lucas Carswell, his mom did a TikTok video,
Yes.
like pleading for someone to help her and to find
Right.
him. And she actually has Ring doorbell camera of her outside, and somebody was like, "Look, look, look!" And she looks down, and there's her son coming up on his bike to her, and she ran out to him, and oh, he saw one of her flyers, and then went to her house to say, "Mom, I'm okay."
I'm okay. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's awesome. That is awesome. And yeah, Piper from Monday, she was found.
Yes.
So she was actually found in Casper, Wyoming.
Oh wow.
So no one was even looking in that area. Everyone was looking from, where she lived all the way to Oregon. And there it was, Wyoming.
That's
So
why it's so
good
important
news.
that, yeah, we spread it to like everyone, even people that are like, I'm not even near that state. I can't be of help. You might be of huge help because we never know where they are.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And we keep seeing it over and over. Heck, we had some cases where the person ended up in another Canada. Okay, everyone remembers that from a few. Yep. So, oh gosh, I am having fun looking at this. We got Miss Louisiana girl in chat. Let's see, did we miss anyone? Oh, NY, I missed NY. How you doing, NY? Let's see, who else did I? Okay, I got Seal in there. Okay, and Louisiana girl. I missed being able to hang out, but I did get Cantina in on Friday. I was like, okay, I can't be away from a week and not do it. So, yeah. So, this is a new, okay, let me ask the normal question we ask when we start, especially a cold case. Put a 1 in chat if you have heard of Shannon Paulk. Put a 2 in chat if this is a new case for you. And hello, BC. How you doing, my dear? So 1 in chat if this is new. 2, oh, well, wait. Is that what I said a second ago? I don't even know what I was saying.
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
No.
I was going with your second set of directions then.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, we're a half-half. That's good. I don't even have to guess what it was now because it's a half-half in chat. Oh my gosh, yes. So, yeah, okay, what about the 2 of you? Okay, Sleuth Burden? Yeah.
I had not prior to, I don't believe that I had. She kind of looks familiar, but the name didn't ring a bell with me.
Exactly. Sleuth, what about you?
I recognize her name and stuff. She would have been like, she's the same age as me. So it's, it kind of relates. Like I'm looking at her, all of this stuff about her and reading about it and stuff. And I'm wondering if I heard about it while I was growing up because like her name, her picture, everything was familiar.
Yeah, right. And that I was trying to figure out because the time frame we're talking about was 911. Okay, 9/11 happened in the middle of her being missing. In fact, it pulled away some of the FBI had jumped in on the case. And then 911 happened and they got pulled back somewhat. And because so much was going on in the country at the time. And I was trying to remember what was in 911, that's how old of a case this is. And Sleuth, for her to be your age, think about a whole life that has never been family. Okay, would she have had children of her own? All these things, and she still has not had justice. And that's why we're here today, is to talk about she needs justice. And they're still working hard as we go through this. We're going to see how they've had a grand jury together. They're trying to pull up more information on it. But there's even the possibility that this could have been connected to a serial murderer, basically. And also because there's a number of other girls about her age in the general vicinity, okay, that went missing and were either killed or have never been found since then. So there's a lot of different things that we have there. And I know we have some people in chat. By the way, hello, Natasha. And so if people have more information, please throw it out for us during this, because you guys might have more than we do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, her birthday is May 8th, 1990. Mine's August 5th, 1989. So, like, we're, like, right... I mean, you're talking about 9/11. I was in 7th grade. You know what I mean? Whenever that happened. And so we would have been literally right around that same age range. And I'm wondering if that's why I recognized her initially, because this would have been on the news.
Alabama. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know,
this
all
was,
around whenever we were growing up. Yep.
Yep. Oh my God. I just realized, Sleuth, you were born the year I graduated from high school.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. That just hit me. And I was like, oh my God. Last name is Paulk. Yeah. Paulk. And so what I'm going to do is I have 2 videos we're going to start off with, and then we'll kind of go through some of the stuff. The first video I wanted to share with everyone is actually part of a 2-part expose that was done, I think, like 17 years in. We're at 21 or so, almost 22 years right now. And in this one, the first one was just more generalized. The second one, her father actually was interviewed for it. Her mother and father had just recently been divorced about 6 months beforehand. So let's see what we got from Natasha. He started a funeral home in Fitzgerald. Got it. The last name was, interesting. I'll have to look at that a little bit more. So let me pull this up. And hopefully the sound is going to do okay for you guys. If not, let me know. Let me move my window over here. Here we go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Daryl Hood.
And I'm Stephanie Hicks with local news first on CBS 8 and ABC Montgomery. It was nearly 16 years ago when the city of Prattville was shaken by a tragic crime. A little girl went missing and later found murdered.
11-year-old Shannon Paulk went outside to play and was never seen alive again. Police are still searching for her killer. Tonight, Shannon's father is speaking to Alabama News Network for the first time in 16 years. Olivia Dees has more in part 2 of her I-Team investigation, Who Killed Shannon Paulk.
May 8th is a particularly difficult day for Billy Paulk. It would have been Shannon Paulk's 27th birthday. Now, 16 years after her death, he's breaking his silence about her disappearance.
I was supposed to pick her up on that Friday for visitation all weekend, and I never got time.
Billy Paulk had only been divorced from Shannon's mother for 6 months the day she disappeared. It's a day, he says, will remain the worst day of his life.
All I could do is walk in the bedroom and just sit there and cry.
On the morning of August 16th, 2001, 11-year-old Shannon started out her summer day as she normally would. After Mom left for work, she got up, had breakfast, and went outside.
She's the life of the party. She would make anybody smile. She loved old people. She'd help old people out. She went down the street, sat with an old woman all day long on the front porch, helping her get water. Shannon's just a bright little girl, and she loved everybody.
But the morning of August 16th was the last time she was seen alive. 60 days later, her body found in a wooded hunting area about 17 miles from her home. Her killer still at large today. It was a crime that shook a community.
It's really, really affected our neighborhood because, like I say, all the kids grow up around here and they ride their bikes, they ride their four-wheelers, and it's not a safe place anymore.
We're taking it pretty rough. I mean, it looks like, Candlestick looks like a ghost town. The kids aren't playing like they usually do. Everybody's being real cautious about their children being out in the roads and stuff like that.
Stop that right there because, first of all, I really thank you, Magenta. Love you, my dear. Thank you so much for joining. You're part of the Ohana now. You're all part of the Ohana. She's a local maniac, though. And, but thank you so much, my dear. One of the things I wanted to bring up, okay, as we hit that part there, because one of the differences when we're dealing with new cases versus these cold cases is we forget how things change over the years. Okay, this was back at a time when Kids played outside. Okay, I don't know about you guys, Bird and Sleuth, about you two, but I would go out playing. Okay, I had to be in the house by 9 o'clock at times. Okay, it was, you felt safe. And so this something like this, when it happens, it really does change everything. The whole neighborhood changes. These kids, every single child that was in that neighborhood was changed forever based off of what happened here.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, like I can't remember feeling fear whenever I was a kid at all. Like I'm thinking back to my childhood and I grew up in a neighborhood similar to this. You know what I mean? And I don't remember ever like thinking like, "Oh, it's not safe to ride my bikes," or whatever. Like I remember my mom, like we were lock key kids. She didn't get home sometimes till 11 p.m. It was me, my older brother, and my two younger sisters, and we were all just out, you know. And sometimes whenever she was home, she would literally lock the front door and be like, "Go play. You're not coming inside. I don't care if you need a drink, you know, like nothing. Like you're not coming in." And so I can't imagine what this did to this entire community to have just this girl just go missing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Burden.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah,
no,
no,
go for it.
growing up in the country, we didn't have, um, it was probably even less restricted, I'd say, because we really didn't have neighbors. There was a big distance between yourself and the neighbor home. One was down the road and the other was like way up around the corner. I mean, it was a ways away. So we didn't have that much traffic. And the biggest thing that my parents really cared about was don't be crossing over the road. But outside of that, yeah, we would go swimming at nighttime or the pouring rain, or we would be able to just run out, do whatever we would like to do, and come in. They kind of knew where we were. Like I did a lot of what are they called? Lightning bugs. So I would do a lot of lightning
Yes.
bug hunting. Yeah. And so we were always out there just running the yard, the backyard, front yard. And the first time I ever felt concern, oh, hi, Jared. How are you today? The first time I ever felt fear, and it wasn't the kind of fear I understand today, but
Right.
was a girl named Sarah Ann Wood. And I will never forget her name. She was a young girl that lived in the country out our way, and she got taken. She was
Oh wow.
snatched up and stolen, and she lost her life as well. And we used to all like light a light in our windows for her to help guide her back home. And that is when my parents got very serious about us,
Right.
not just walking by ourselves and coming in, being alert. That's when we started to learn about that stuff, because they realized it could happen even out in the country.
Exactly. I know I grew up on military bases, so it was really safe. I mean, pretty safe. And when we go visit family, okay, for example, I have family in Chicago. We go to Chicago, and oh my gosh, I still to this day remember the talking to I would get from my mom before we get there. You're holding hands the whole time you're around, all these things, because we were so used to just, I mean, you'd walk to school, and yeah, it took you 20, 30 minutes to walk to school, but it was totally safe doing it. So, and that's exactly these people. This was a trailer park. The kids hung out with each other. They had, okay, honestly, I will be honest, they had a very high number of offenders. Okay, that in fact, I think there were 3 different sexual offenders in the trailer park. And so there were definitely things I'm sure the kids were told, be careful about so and so. In fact, one of them was later on brought up on pictures. Okay, huge number of pictures in his computer where what he would do is actually have people come in. He'd get kids to come in with candy, and then he'd take pictures of them. And this is in that neighborhood. Now, I don't know who they've cleared, who they haven't cleared, or anything. That, okay, I believe, and I really do feel the police have been working really hard on this. I do think they need to get the DNA side of it handled, though, because we now know how much DNA will help us in these cases.
Oh my
So,
gosh, yeah. I'm looking forward to so many of these being solved. I don't know if you've seen like the updates on the Morgan Nick case even, but I talked about that a little bit today. You know, they found a fiber from her shirt inside of this guy's truck that they've been looking into, and they're hoping like that it matches her shirt that she had on. And so
Wow.
they're eventually, it sounds like, gonna pin it to this guy who is actually deceased, unfortunately, but it still gives that type of closure.
Still,
Now, if only they can figure out where he would have put her. You know what I
right,
mean? And so that's a whole
right.
next level, but there's so many of these cases that with our technology that we have now, I'm just looking forward to closure for these families. It's happening. It's happening day
Yeah,
after day.
Yeah.
it is happening.
I feel like
Yep.
it's rapid. It's every single day I'm seeing a report of a cold case that's getting solved through the DNA. There's so many that I'm seeing them, and then I know NY sees a whole bunch. There's a bunch that get put in every day that I'm like, wow, I love this because there's
Yeah.
finally going to be answers and some sense of closure after all the years. They'll be
Yep.
like happened in the 70s and 60s,
Huh.
all these long time. And so,
Yep.
um, yeah, I think it's just going to
Yeah.
increase even further. But I'm really happy about that too.
And some of them may have already passed themselves. Like in this case, it's possible, but it does help on a certain level of closure. It's not going to be complete closure, but it will help on some level. And so, hello and welcome to Monica. Welcome, welcome. So, and Avery, thank you so much. You live, Avery, up here, I can pull it up right there. You live in Prattville, and I'm on Shannon's call. Okay. Thanks. First of all, thanks for joining us. This has actually been a fairly, most of us here had seen her face. And I mean, when you look around at cases, but we hadn't really done a deep dive of anything. So I'm really interested in hearing what people have to share with that. So thank you. And thank you so much for the donation. Thank you so much for that. So let me go ahead and start up the rest of this little video here.
Shannon's disappearance has really upset the whole community.
That was from neighbors in 2001. Randall Houston is the district attorney for Elmore and Autauga counties. He's been working on this case since day one.
This is a child who went missing, and it horrified an entire community. You know, Prattville was a sleepy little hometown feel community where people still left their doors unlocked in some areas. But this changed all that. You know, it's one of those, this couldn't happen here, happened here.
Recently, a grand jury has been called to review new evidence in the case to help find Shannon's killer, but that offers Billy Paulk no relief.
I just live it every day. And half the time I can't even concentrate on my job because it's in my head every day. What could I have done if I would have been there? And I have lost a few jobs because of it. I just can't function. But I gotta live with it, you know.
When you talk to people about Shannon,
I can't.
you can't talk to anybody about it.
I have people try to talk to me all the time about her. It just tears me up inside. I just can't.
One thing that helps him feel close to her, a tree planted in Shannon's memory.
Just about every time I come to Prattville, I go to the park. I take my two youngest granddaughters down there. They go down. They clean off the headstone at the tree. We sit there and talk. Yes, it was a little bitty tree when they was planted. It's a good sized tree now.
The grand jury reviewing the evidence on Shannon's murder will meet for 6 more months. Investigators say advances in new technology and forensic testing could prove to be monumental in this case. But those working on the case, who have invested more than just time and effort, will continue to try to bring closure to her family.
Quite honestly, I think people that do things like this, they don't have a conscience. I think they're wired different. They think different. They do things different. I think they're basically abominations of our society. Most of them, anyone that would kill a child is an abomination, in my opinion.
You know, she's fixing to have a birthday next month. Next Monday, and I'm gonna have to come up here and go to the can't see her in person. I got to go to the cemetery to visit my daughter, and that's not right. I should be able to go to spend time with my daughter on her birthday, and not go to the cemetery and spend time with her.
Most people still think of Shannon as that 11-year-old girl, but in reality, she's only 1 year younger than myself. Olivia Dees, Alabama News Network, I-Team.
Well, Marie.
That's what her whole life, okay, we see this 11-year-old and we forget how much more, okay, how her dad, okay, all the memories, okay, every dad has that dream of walking their daughter down the aisle, things like that. And your heart breaks. I mean, your heart, that I've watched that video now probably 3 or 4 times, and every time it's hard to watch. And Avery, I wanted to say, yeah, the family and the way that it's affected there has to be just you see it. If you go to the Facebook group, you can see where the family, friends, neighborhood, everyone comes together, because that's hopefully what you do as a community, is you come together and try to do whatever you can. Great question, Burden. And actually, feel free to pop any comments you guys have in chat or anything. But yeah, how did it affect you growing up? Did you find yourself parents pushing you in different directions on being careful, things like that? Here was an answer. Sleuth Mom, no, I haven't. I've been waiting on some That's what I'm hoping for, is that we can get that DNA, because it's really, there are some. Okay, actually, let's go through this and then we'll come in, because you know me, I'm already jumping to conclusions here where what do we think happened and what all needs to happen next? But
I have kind of an extension question for Avery as well. Were those of you in the area directed away from certain people that you all suspected may have had a hand, may have been responsible? Was there anywhere that they said, stay clear of these places or these people? Because like I have the familiar with the case in my area, but just kind of curious how it was out there for you guys.
Yeah, Avery's saying we always felt it was targeted, and I'm on a better side of town. And that is something that it's sounding from just what I was seeing, that there definitely were a couple possibilities out there. I don't know, like I said, who's been cleared and who hasn't. I know the police have said, due to the grand jury, all this stuff, they've been able to clear some people that they had not been able to clear before. But I think, yeah, the DNA is going to be totally important in this case, because there's got to be some DNA out there for them to work with. And so let's go through that. And actually, Avery, I may pull you on that one. We're going to go through this, and then we'll come, that way everyone's kind of been brought up to date, and then we will move forward on all that. But let me real quickly, there was, let's see, me present, share screen. So this next one that I have here is actually the lead investigator talking about the case itself. It's not real long, but it's kind of shows you everything that they're working with, all the evidence, how he was just starting at the time and now he's in charge of it, things like that.
All right, Tom, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of Shannon Paulk's disappearance. Now, a lot of people would call it a cold case because we haven't had an arrest in 20 years, but we work this case actively, don't we?
Correct. Prattville has always kept the case open. It's never been put on a shelf and stowed away until somebody wants to work it. It's always been worked. We've always taken tips on it, worked the tips out, continue to process evidence, and hope the new technology will give us a break also.
Now, you were a young patrolman back August 16th of 2001. Now you're the case agent assigned. You started at the very beginning, and now you've got it. Do you think we'll ever get that break that we need? Do you think we'll ever solve this case?
I think it is solvable. I hope the team that's here now can solve it. I would love to see it before I retire. There's been a lot of investigators retire over the years that, like I said earlier, are still involved, still check on the case. They're open, if we have questions, they're open to giving us the answers that they have. So I think it'll get solved eventually.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up there, Cold Truth just mentioned this. Oh, sorry, 1 second. There we go. Cold Truth just mentioned that they emailed Tom, the lead detective, last week. No DNA testing because the FBI won't release the profile. And that becomes part of the I know part of the issue they were running into is also because this is such a cold case, it kind of goes through certain groups and all that, and it's not the higher priority over ones that are current. But you know what? Justice and things like that have to take. Okay. Yeah, good question, Avery. So are they saying that it's the actual DNA that they've pulled off of her? Or is it the actual certain people that they're looking at? And I would love to hear something with that. Sorry, I've got that. Oops, sorry, for those of you who didn't hear that. So, okay, let's see. I am going to go ahead. I just wanted to check in on a couple things. I'm going to go over one article, and then actually, if you want to, I'm going to go ahead and open up the panel. And also that we can talk a little bit more because there are definitely a lot of different things going on in this case. And we've got some wonderful people here in this chat that could help us out with that. One thing I will be asking is if you guys, when you come up, if you could let me see who you are first backstage, and then you can go off. You don't have to bring your face up or anything like that, but I just need to see behind the scenes once. And also, yeah, the DNA and markers and stuff. Okay, Cold Truth. The DNA does not have enough markers to do any more than rule people out. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you. Let me real quickly pull up one more thing, share my screen so we can go through this last bit here. Because I at least from there, I can kind of get everyone recognizing. First of all, Google Earth. So I wanted to say thank you to Chris for sending this. So to give you guys an idea of where we're talking about. So I'm kind of changing some things around, but that way at least you guys have a good idea of everything here. So the area we're talking about from where she went missing is this area right here. Okay, Candlestick Park is in this area here. And where her body was found about 6 weeks later was actually found up here, and there were some hunters areas, things like that. There were 2 hunters that found her up in this area, in the wooded area. So fairly close. I'm going to pull it just out so you can see both of them. Okay, you definitely have the highway connecting the 2 places, fairly easy here. So it kind of gives you guys a little bit idea of what you're looking at there. And last that I want to bring up before I bring up some people would be this. Sorry, gang. Okay, here we go. So this is actually from Suitcase Detective's website. And I was looking through their website earlier, trying to get some good information from it. And take this comment down. Okay. So some of the stuff that within here, we kind of talked about some of the basics, where it all happened. She had gone out for the day, and she was just going out playing around and did not come back. Mom had gone off to work. She was with her sister and then went outside. Let me see. Where I really wanted to pull things out is down here, right here. Okay. There's some people, and I'm not sure if this is going to come up, so I wanted to at least address it. There's some people who have wondered if there could be a tie to a serial. Okay, serial murder, kidnapper, assault, whatever we want to put it. Because right around the same time and over a certain time frame, 2 years or so, we had multiple other girls go missing. And so they all, some of the things, age, all the same, 11 to 13. And we're talking about a time that this was not something that was it's not like it's normal even now, but definitely not then. Okay, but 11 to 13 years old. Okay, 3 of the girls were 11 Tabitha 13. Okay, you can look at them with the pictures and all. Many of them, it's a type. It's definitely a type. So, and they were all taken from trailer parks, except one girl who disappeared near a trailer park. All the rest lived in the trailer parks. So definitely some concerns with that. I'm not sure if, and I'd love to hear, yeah, I just heard someone unmute. Yeah.
It was me. Sorry.
Hey, no problem.
Also, sorry, my voice.
Yeah.
So it says also, Chris had sent over. Hold on a second. Okay, I tried to clear my throat. I'm so sorry. Okay, so Chris had also sent over that there was also a case, and I don't know, I didn't see her picture just then, but Tasha, I don't know if it's Reese or Reese as well. But he said also was 1989, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tasha
that happened
Reese.
as well.
So there is. It'd be interesting on the thought process, especially from the locals' point of view or those who've looked into it deeper. Where do you guys, Tasha Reese? Okay, and do you guys see that potential of the two of there being a serial, or do you think it's more of a case that it was someone there who was actually targeting her specifically? Or it could be the two together, to be honest, whoever's responsible for all of this. And so, because you can definitely like your circumstances. Teresa, Heaven, Shannon, and Tabitha were all walking alone around or near their homes. Okay, 3 of them had commercial construction going on near the path they walked. Okay, 2 of them were heading towards a bus stop. Okay, Westmeister thinks someone was targeting her. And also major highway. So there's definitely a lot of information here. Now, whether they are, I don't know. Peggy Chappelle was close also in Birmingham. Exactly. This is why I'm saying, I'll be honest, gang. I opened this up this morning and I didn't even belong to the Facebook group, which, by the way, I shared the Facebook group at the top of chat earlier today. I'll try to share it again in just a few minutes. But you really, there's a lot of different moving parts to this. Okay, usually you come to cold cases and there's not much to go on. There's a lot of different moving parts in this one and some interesting connections, to be honest. So, okay, so what I'm going to do now, at least I got to show you the basics there. I do want to bring up those of you, if you are someone who is from the local area, I'm going to try to limit it to people who are from the local area, okay, or have covered this, because I do know there's, okay, if you've actually had videos out and done some deep dives yourself on it, okay, please feel free to come on up. And let's see, let me get the link for y'all. And like I said, if you could just show yourself backstage, I will not bring you up until you've been able to get your face off. But I just want to make sure we don't have any surprises. So
yeah, we don't want
you know
any
how that
surprises.
goes. Oh,
we like fun, but not that kind of fun.
Yeah, not at all, not at all. So, and also Peggy's case, yeah, and actually I looked at Peggy also. There were a couple cases that I was looking at this morning as I was trying to figure out where to go. And there's a lot of cases right around that time that do have some kind of striking similarities with them. And they definitely need brought up. And you even put makeup on. And, sorry, my dog's barking. But yeah, no, the more I looked within this, I could definitely see, as I mentioned, there was someone called, and I'm sure those living in the area probably know more about it, the Root Beer Man. Now, the Root Beer Man is someone who lived in this area. And he lived in the trailer park, and he was, later on, he faced charges for having over 1,000 child pornography pictures on his computer. And he was known as the Root Beer Man because he carried root beer around. He'd get kids to come in using candy or stuff like that, take pictures. And so I'm not sure if anything ever came of that. I do know it's really hard to find information. I found one article about him, but yeah, it's really been interesting to see. What are you guys, Sleuth Burden, while we're waiting on anyone to come up, what are your guys' thoughts about this possibly being related
I
to other
honestly,
things?
I thought that I was unmuted, but I had my regular mic unmuted earlier. But um, I just looked up the Peggy Chappelle one, and
Yeah.
that one, like, this is devastating. 6 years old. She was killed. Let's see, November 25th of 93 is when she was found deceased, and she got into a van. People seen her get into a van. And it's devastating that that happened, but as far as a connection to Shannon Pollock, I would have to know more cases within like that put that closer to that same timeline, if that makes sense, because all the
Right.
other ones that they're thinking, if it is like a serial, were all like August, right?
Right.
And we're like within 2 years or whatever, 2 years apart. So unless there's one in like 95 and 97, do you know what I mean? Like leading up
That
to
was a little
like a
farther
pattern,
back.
right?
Yes, yes, exactly. The other ones seem to be within that 1 to 2 year period, which is why I was like, I'm still not 100% on it because I just started looking at this deeper today. So, to really understand something. Oh, no problem, Avery. Drive safely. Okay, we'll definitely be here. There's one thing about these these two gals and I, we can talk forever and have no problem. So,
I do wonder with the
yeah,
age, or with the years, with the time frame, because I do know that some of these, if it were to be the same person, they do take gaps, periods of time. So I'd actually have to look at the date on each of them and see, because sometimes maybe in the beginning they're nervous, so they commit one crime, and then they'll be 2 or 3 years, and then they'll commit one, and then it starts to shorten. Like if you look at
yeah,
the Stockton serial killer, sorry for saying that. I don't
no,
know.
no, no worries.
But he had like a duration of time between when he would act, but then there was a woman that he missed. Like, well, he got her many times, but she survived. And then he had a break, a longer break, where it's kind of like it scared him, and so he didn't commit any, and then started again, and then it started to frequent. So I would actually want to look at the dates on all of these, including Tasha. Is that what her name was? Right? I don't want to say her the wrong name again.
Yeah,
If that was not it, but yeah. So I would like to look at all
okay,
of that, and it's maybe a possibility. But you're right. It could be as well. She was specifically targeted.
Right.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
think it's
yeah. No,
hard to imagine somebody doing the things that people do to these kids and murdering a child and things like that, and it not being the parents, right? We're looking at a situation where it's not filicide. I think it's hard for me to imagine somebody doing that to a child and then never doing it again, especially if
right,
they got away with it. Do you know what I mean? And so I would not put it past whoever this freak is that did this to her to have committed crimes before or after.
sure,
Um, I don't know. But then again, there have been cases where I cannot remember the young girl's name, but there have been cases before where the guy did it one time, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
exactly,
and never did it again.
yeah.
But he was harassing kids and leaving pictures of his privates and stuff like that on their bicycles. And I cannot remember her name though. Gray
Oh,
Hughes was talking about her the one night.
you brought it up to us too at one point. We were talking
You
about it, and I
did,
remember that
yes,
it's something about, we realized that he probably gave it a try in person with the children, with one, but then realized he actually preferred to just watch reaction as he
Right.
left those photos for them. I remember us discussing this case. Yeah.
I
the
gotta Google,
Tinsley
'cause I'm
case.
sure I'll
Was that
find it.
it? Was that it?
Who is
The
it?
Tinsley case? Tinsley?
Maybe.
Could be.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
trying to remember also, and I'm like, also, by the way, hello, Mama Bear, and hello, your local bacteria. And but yeah, it's you run into the case, especially when you're dealing with. I almost today covered instead of this. I told Sleuth this. We have a potential serial killer on Kauai when I lived there in the early 2000s,
It was
and
the
there's never
Tinsley
been
case, just
proof.
to interrupt
It
real
was
quick. Yes,
Tinsley.
thank you so much.
Perfect. Westmeister has it down. I think, and so you never know when they come in, are they connected? Okay, at first. Is this someone maybe from that area? And this was the one time that he actually came closer to home, and other times he went further out. I definitely think having the DNA, I don't know why they won't release it and start allowing the testing to be done, because one thing's for sure, there is still a chance this person was out there hurting more people. Okay, most people, yes, you get a couple that will only do it once, but there's more of a chance that they've done something to hurt someone else also. And
Right.
it's helpful if people know. And also,
It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same area. You know, they can move. Not everybody is Richard Allen and just stays living right down the road from where they did stuff.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, as Boot Hill just said, Natasha just said, the list of missing children in Alabama contained 54 names as of October 25, 2020. So, but yeah, no, recognizing there was definitely, that area seemed to have an abnormally high number of sexual offenders. Okay, that were on the record. Okay, that had everything. You hear my dog barking? Yeah, she is giving me problems. When Crisp doesn't even cover it, you guys know how loud it is. So, and that's my dog. And she just left though. So, but yeah, no.
Have they released the names of anyone that they suspect so far in her case? Not that I want to like put on people on blast, but
yeah,
I'm just
no,
interested.
what happened initially is there was initially a actual drawing of a potential suspect. They had talked to a bunch of kids, and some kids were like, oh yeah, we saw her talking to this guy, and they gave this description with a mole and all that. And they worked off of this description for years. But when they came back together and started looking at this, they discovered that the kids had made that up. The kids wanted to help.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. As children, they wanted to help. And they were thinking, okay, so if we say something, we're helping out. And the problem was, it went, 16 years with people looking in possibly the wrong direction. Okay, yeah, it really, when I saw that, I was getting ready to actually share that. And then I was like, oh, okay, that is not the person. Like I said, there were 3 different people who were past offenders and stuff like that. So they're at a higher thing there. And it looks like, okay, we do have someone back there. So, perfect. So what I'm going to do for the person back there is you can actually turn your camera off if you want. That way people don't see what you're doing and all that. And then I'm going to bring them up. And also, unless you're okay. If you're okay with me showing that, no problem. I just want to make sure you're safe. So if you, I don't know if you know how to turn off your camera or not, but if you, on the bottom, there's a little thing, and there's one area that says stop cam. If you hit the stop cam, aha, she's got it. Got it. Thank you, Mom. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry, Mom, just come. Love you, Mom. Okay, so Avery just popped up backstage, so we're going to bring Avery up. Hello, Avery.
Hi. So I have I had the camera on. See, this is leaving town, and I was just gonna mute so you guys could see until I get to the trailer park. I was just gonna mute so you guys could see how far this trailer park is outside of town. It's in an industrial area, and I figured that way I could show you guys the big industrial highway, and then it would make more sense to you why it's been so hard to catch her killer, because people travel along that highway, and then all the buildings around it are big industrial buildings that are like plant workers.
Yes.
And so I'll just mute.
Okay.
And then when I get to it,
please
I'll
drive
unmute.
safe. Okay, perfect. And
Oh,
please
I am.
drive safe and all that. Perfect. You got
Oh,
it. And so you got it. But yeah, no, exactly. Because, and that's the thing, as I brought up a few minutes ago, the Google Earth stuff that was sent to me by Chris earlier. These are rural areas. They are different in the types of the way things. So the park, so Westmeister is saying the park sits really low. Okay, got it. So,
I'm
okay,
so grateful that you're
Nick,
doing this for us, Avery, because Google Earth is great, but it's nothing like actually going to the scene and actually being able to see. The
you
fact that
guys
it's in
are,
an industrial area and so many workers and things, that
See
does alarm me because
all this
go ahead.
housing on the left over here, like all this housing on the left and the right is all new. So none of this was here.
wow.
And yeah, this trailer park, it is like down low and it is so creepy. Every time I go over here, I swear to you, the hairs on my legs grow. Like it
Oh,
creeps me
wow.
out that bad. Okay, so this road that I'm coming up on is a big highway that people, travel through to go up to northern Alabama. And
Okay.
these woods, which it's kind of dark, so you can't really see the woods, but all these woods right here surround this entire trailer park. And
Wow.
so yeah, it's really, really creepy. Just the way to you guys see it. Like it freaks me out.
Oh, I bet. And when you get those areas that are really out there
This
in, I hate the word boonies, but that's what my mom used to call it all the time. Hello,
Yeah.
Princessa.
So
Yeah.
okay, this is so creepy. But so this is it, and you go down. You have to go down into it, and I may have to get out to show you guys.
Well, be safe. I don't know what the neighborhood's like or anything, but please, yeah.
Well, I am always, always, always carrying.
There you go. That's a good one.
But see, so there's some trailers. The whole thing is just all trailers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn my brights on, but and I will show you the trailer that she went missing from.
Okay, thank you
Or well,
guys.
it's not the same trailer, but
Right. Location wise, it's the same
yeah.
location.
And this shows you like about how many trailers are in here. See how many
Oh,
mailboxes there
wow.
are?
Yes. Each of those has what, about 9 to 10?
Uh-huh.
9 to 12 in each of them. So, wow.
And then the trailer that well, it's not the same trailer, but the one that they were in was right back here. And it's so creepy because right behind it is all woods. All back there is all woods.
So, yeah, you basically, if anyone took her into those backwoods, no one would, yeah. Oh,
And
wow.
so it just keeps going around. And I don't know, like the people, that live here now, I don't really know what they're like because I just get chills, coming in here. But
Right.
so it might be safe people now, but and I'm sure they thought it was safe then, but
Oh,
you
I'm
can
sure.
see it's just trailer to trailer to trailer. And I believe this is the one right here where her trailer was. Right here.
Okay, got it.
I'm pretty sure that's it. And
You
it's
can see how
all,
dark it is and all at night. Okay, and
yeah.
Westmeister is saying that there's a footpath that goes to other trailer parks even. Oh, wow. So they all
Yeah.
kind of connect to each other then.
Yeah. And so I'll show you, hang on a minute here, because I don't want to go around all that. It's kind of rough right there.
Yeah, no, don't get yourself into a weird place for sure. And
Yeah, the road is just bad. And they have a waterfall here now. That wasn't here before. That wasn't here 20.
interesting. Yeah, I see that there. So they've
Yeah.
tried to dress it up and stuff like that. So Brandywine and
Yep.
Hilltop is what she's saying.
Did
They're
they
saying.
Did they ever change the name of the I keep trying to call it campground, the trailer park from one
No,
name to another? No.
it's still Candlestick, and I'm telling
Same
you, it's like
sign.
this place is
It's
so
stuck.
it's so creepy. It
Yeah,
is so
it seems
creepy.
stuck. I saw
Look at
signs, and I think the sign is still the same sign
like
almost.
look at these
Yeah.
vans. They're just even the vans are creepy. You know,
Wow.
it's just
Yes.
but
They
I
took
think
the
that's just
sign
kind of
down.
I'm kind of shocked that they don't have like I guess they do at the end of the drives. Never mind. They do have street light type things.
is it
Yeah,
I'm
but
seeing
it's
for
that now.
dark.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was it's really
oh
dark.
that's
So I
okay.
can't
Yeah.
imagine what it would have been like in the,
Back then.
you
Back
Well,
know,
then, yeah.
before
because
LED lights.
it's low, it's like lower to the ground, and because of all these woods around it, it's actually kind of dark in here during the day. Because I've been in here
Oh,
during the day, and there's no sun getting through in here with these trees and stuff. But
yeah.
let me go back up here to the main road, and so you guys can see.
Oh, we might have lost her.
We
She
we
might be
either lost
buffering
her,
with
or
the
she's
service.
changing her cameras around. So we'll keep talking till she pops up again. Let me. Up there she is. She's back.
Yeah, I
He's
mean
getting that.
it's literally just out here all by itself. This is just a big
Wow.
um
Yeah, it's also bad connection back out there too. It gives you an idea. It is
oh
out
yeah.
rural, definitely.
Yeah.
It almost
Yeah.
seems like to me like I know the industrial park is there and that like workers obviously would know that this is there, but somebody
Hmm.
from out of the area, for example, that's just visiting or going to look to take a child or something, would it really be on their radar to go down into this little neighborhood? Or is this more a local slash people that may have known the family type situation?
And that's what I'm wondering. Like Westmeister is saying, thinks someone in the park actually was involved in it. Because if you think about it, these locations, when you live in a place like this, everyone knows everyone. Okay, even especially back then, but you kind of know everyone that you walk around. If you're a child, you know everyone in the area. So they even said if someone was driving around that did not belong there, people would have known. So it does push more and more that was it someone that was known to the area. So, and by the way, Natasha, I understand you don't have a lot with that, but thank you. You're pulling up a lot of good information for sure. So thank you. And yeah, wondering if it's someone close to the family or something like that. So I think we lost her for a second. If she pops back up, I'll definitely let her back up here. And guys, this has been amazing that we have people who have been following the case, that know the area, because that's where it comes from. Locals, we know our neighborhoods.
Right. Yeah, I
And
super
it's,
appreciate Cold Truth and Avery both for
yes,
all of the knowledge that they've been able to put into the
this
chat
is,
and
yeah,
just
Westmeister.
whenever we go
Yeah,
through and we're reading articles and we're digging on cases, it's one thing to be able to see the surface of the case. But unless you've really been following a case, you just don't know the nitty-gritty. You don't know everything. And so it's always beneficial whenever somebody's able to come give that input.
right, exactly. And knowing those, because I know earlier, Chris had told me earlier today, you know what, maybe I could get some people come up and everything. And I came up with the idea of this, okay, of Shannon Too Late. But I think they popped in anyhow, which I love because you don't. And plus, what also happens, I think, when we're looking at a case, we're looking at it from a third party looking in, and we don't get to see all the personal sides to everything, how it affected this, how it affected children being able to go out and play, for example. I know one of the things I had been told is that at one point she had just saved, and people who know the story, add in if you have more to add to it. She had just rescued a puppy or something, and her parents wouldn't let her keep the puppy. So she had a neighbor. In fact, one of the last people to see her was this neighbor, because they were taking care of the puppy for her, and she went over to check in on the puppy, wanted to come in, but because there were no parents there, no one was allowed to come in without parents being in the trailer or the home. And so there's all these little other stories that we don't know about. And that's, makes a difference. So, dogs growling, talking about puppies. And do we know the neighbor's name by any chance? I'm sure they do. And I'm sure at this point, this has been going on for so many years. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the names are there. I don't know enough about who's been said to be okay versus who has not been, that I wouldn't want to go accidentally passing the wrong name out. So Wes has led the charge. I came along. Oh, is that it? Okay. So Wes was the original. Okay. And he was, let's see here. So I'm following this the correct way. So that was the last person to see them. Okay, perfect. Yeah, see, I've been trying to honestly pull as much of this together as possible within just a couple hours. But that's the problem. When you're dealing with these cold cases, people forget about her. No one's talking about Shannon unless it's an anniversary. And right now, there needs to be pressure for the DNA. All those things need pressure so that we can get mom and dad get some, her sister gets justice. So let's see. Wes was the first, came along 29. Gosh, that's a long time to follow too.
I'm going to definitely go check out your videos too, Cold Truth,
Yes,
because I'm interested to learn more, like, and as far as like the nitty gritty and the digging. She said, which neighbor, we know them all. I believe it.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see real quickly, pull up Discord real quick and see what we got there. I've got a couple other articles.
They get digging, they flip every stone, and every pile of dirt underneath the stone gets dug up just in case.
We get into the case. It's like, oh, wait, we have a live going on. Sorry, we were researching all this at the same time. Oh, my gosh. Let me check this one real quickly. Let's see. That was 2003. Oh, something's beeping. So I'm not sure with this person whether they were cleared or not. This was 2003. Was there a name, Cold Truth, you might know about? Okay, there we go. Only ones named publicly are Jack Gibson, Ty. The one that I'm looking at right now is Ty Foster. The one that was cleared is, McElroy, is it? So it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one article up then, because it looks like it is an official person who was mentioned, so we can actually do this just in case. McElroy was cleared. So Ty, it sounds like Ty was not yet. Let me see if I can find the right article here. Foster is the most commonly suspected. Okay, and that's who this article is about right now. Okay. This is Foster. So this is, thank you for Natasha for pulling this up. We can go through this real quickly. One of those three names has not been cleared. Okay. And so let me see what we got here. So it was a story that gripped Central Alabama for months, kidnapping and murder of 11-year-old Shannon Paulk of Prattville. 2 years later, it appears new suspects may be surfaced. So this is definitely older, but as we know, that's where we get all our information to start with. According to a report in Montgomery Advertiser, Ty Foster is one of the several people now considered suspects in the case. Foster was arrested Friday in Prattville on unrelated sexual abuse charges. Okay, Westmeister.
I'm sorry.
And Westmeister just let us know this guy was the park maintenance guy. So
that would make sense, the connection if it is somebody known, yeah.
Exactly. However, authorities have not named him as a suspect. After investigators searched his mobile home on Thursday, Prattville Police Chief Albert Wadsworth told 12 News that the search was not related to the Paulk investigation. The news channel spoke with Shannon's mother, Marie Paulk, Saturday. She said Shannon used to play with Foster's children and that her older daughter, Lisa, used to babysit them. She was not aware that Foster had been named as a suspect. If police are indeed considering Foster a suspect, it would be the first break in the case in almost 2 years. Shannon disappeared from Candlestick Mobile Home Park in Prattville in August of 2001. It's the same park where Foster lives. The disappearance led to months of searching for Shannon. Eventually, a group of hunters stumbled across her body later that fall in a wooded area north of the city. There have been no arrests so far, and if Foster is considered a suspect, the Advertiser reports he is one of several. He bonded out Saturday afternoon, and I think that's the end of the story there. So definitely, let me pull up his picture.
It sounds like
and all
they
that.
were still kind of debating whether or
Yeah.
not, they didn't want to officially say, and obviously everything's allegedly and our opinions and all that.
Exactly. And we all know you got to be careful with the things because you name someone a suspect, it changes their life completely. So they always want to be careful. But so Foster was not cleared at any time, Natasha. You're the one who pulled it up, so thank you. And another on Foster. Okay, I'll go take a look at that. In and out of trailers, working, lots of, and that's true. If you're working, it looks like there was a feeling of trust there also. If there was babysitting by her sister being done, things like there would definitely be a feeling of trust.
Yeah. Especially if it was Ward or like, hey, come here, we want you to blah, blah, blah. She would have already been comfortable with him to go.
Exactly. Strange thing is when Foster got out of prison, he moved to the road Shannon's body was found on. That is interesting. That is very interesting. I believe that Foster could be the key holder in this case. Foster currently lives out near where she was found. That goes along with what Shannon knew him. What was it said about a babysitter related to Foster? Okay, if I'm remembering what I read correctly, it was saying, Natasha, that Shannon's sister babysat for this guy's children. So there's definitely, if you're a teenager in a place like this, you probably do a lot of babysitting also. Shannon played at Foster's house all the time. She was friends with his kids and went there even when they were not there. So yeah, total feeling of trust going on there. So interesting. Very, very interesting there. So sorry, just checking that out. Let me see if I've got anything else that we can read off of. Definitely check out Cold Truth's YouTube page. I've been kind of looking at it, and that's why my mind keeps going off because I'm looking at everything that's there. Really some great looking videos there. Shannon liked to go visiting, like her dad. Yeah, it sounded like, you look at her smile. Anyone who's watched me before knows I do this. I look at the pictures and I try to get a feel for the person that way. And she looked like the type of person who liked being around people. She smiled. She looked like a sweetheart. She really looked like a real sweetheart to me, actually. Let's see. Oh, and there go the dogs. Okay, you can get down on the ground, little one. Yes.
That's funny.
They are so funny, so funny. I'm trying to pull up, so I've got some other stuff that popped up closer to now that we're into anniversaries, because the grand jury was actually, I don't know if they did extend it and it's still going on or if it's been closed out. Westmeister is saying she interacted with at least 4 different residents that day. So see, this is what she did. She went around and talked with people all day. Okay, that's how she enjoyed her day. Let's see. There's something I can kind of share with real quick. Let me find the right picture here. I don't know why the dog is. Shannon was all over the park that day. Oh, the stroller. Yes. Thank you, Cold Truth. I had forgotten about the stroller. She had earlier taken with her a stroller. Okay, kind of like something that kids could get into and all that. That stroller was actually found by another person who lived in the park. And she had cleaned it up and all that, thinking she was pregnant at the time. And she was like, oh, this is great. I've got a great stroller, a baby walker, you know, those things you put kids in and they walk and all that stuff. And unfortunately, the lady cleaned it up. So if there was any potential DNA connected with it or anything, whatever. But yeah, she was maternal with her kids, things like that. Okay, with her dolls, she took care of her dolls, things like that.
Aw.
But yeah, the stroller was definitely the. Actually, let's pull this one up because it actually tells us a little bit about her. And that's what I like to know is who she was. Okay, that's what's important to me. So, voice of the victim, here we go. Okay, so this is on LaFlorala.com. And it's actually an article that they run called Voice of the Victim, where they talk about different victims of things. And August 16th was supposed to be a normal summer day for 11-year-old Shannon Nicole Paulk of Prattville. Her mother, Marie Stroud, headed off for work early Thursday morning, leaving Shannon and her older sister, Lisa, at home. Hey, Chris. Paulk lived in the Candlestick Mobile Home Park, and she was friends with nearly all of her neighbors. She knew every child and every parent that lived in the trailers lining the small town streets. August 2001 was a simpler time. Those that were alive did not know it yet, but they were living in the final days before September 11. This all started just weeks before September 11. Paulk, however, never got to know the significance of that month. Stroud returned from work that evening, and Paulk was not home for dinner. So Mom came home. Her little girl was not at home for dinner. That was out of character and worried her family. By 9 p.m., they called the police to inform them that their daughter was missing. According to newspaper clippings from the time, citizens were shocked and horrified. Similar cases were unknown to the area in recent history. The city erupted in searches for the missing girl. Yellow ribbons adorned nearly every lamppost in the city to raise awareness for Paulk. Local police immediately took the case seriously, and Shannon's task force was formed. Paulk was supposed to start school the following Monday, according to her aunt and the family advocate for the case, Janet Davis. She was excited about starting school. School started and the weeks passed with no sign of Paulk. The catastrophic attack on September 11th shook the world, although the world of Paulk's friends and family had been spinning slowly for nearly a month. I don't think September 11 has altered the case one way or another, said Davis. On October 6th, 2001, so 6-ish weeks later, rabbit hunters found the remains of Paulk's body bound with rope in a black plastic bag in a wooded area on a public hunting property about 10 miles north of Prattville. That was another thing, okay, if you look at what happened and things like that, the fact that they would go and bind her, use rope to bind her up, that's also not something that's normal for someone just did something. That takes thought process. Clifford Ziegler, one of the hunters who found the body, told the Prattville Progress that he passed the bag multiple times, assuming it was trash, before he realized what it held. A funeral took place and the family mourned her death as they prayed that her killer would be revealed and held accountable. Paulk was a friendly, outgoing little girl who saw everyone in her environment as her friend. She is remembered for visiting the trailers to ask her neighbors if they needed help with anything that day. In particular, she was known for visiting elderly resident known as Mrs. Mary to help bathe and brush the teeth of her small dog. I mean, that alone tells you who this little girl was. And Avery, thank you so much. I had a funny feeling that's what happened. Yeah, no problem. Let me pull up the link real quickly for you. There you go, Avery. Voila. Let me just close this and I'll finish this up while you're doing that. Shannon was beautiful inside and out, Davis said. Her heart was so kind. She was so forgiving to everyone, anyone that might hurt her feelings. She always liked to help older people. Investigators theorize that the childlike trust and kindness may have been the very thing that made her susceptible to predators. It is widely speculated that Paulk's killer was someone she knew and trusted. Weeks, months, years passed, and the killer of Shannon has not been found or has not been identified. The task force still meets regularly, and the family has never given up the hope that justice will be found for their loved one. Hey, Chris. In the last 5 years, there has been a surge of interest in the case. In 2017, grand jury met to investigate the case, take advantage of technological advances made in forensic DNA testing. Podcaster Mel Roberts debuted her show, Cold Truth, and thank you for doing that, in 2020. Her first season was on Paulk's case. She hosted a vigil in Prattville on the 19th anniversary of Paulk's death last year, at the time of writing this, starting a tradition that was carried on this year in honor of the 20th anniversary. Wesley Meyer, a local advocate for the missing and murdered and armchair detective, has taken the initiative to help Roberts and the Paulk family create an online community of supporters on Facebook. Meyer has been an essential part of efforts to bring answers to Paulk's case. And I know we got both of you in here right now, so thank you
Thank you guys both so much. These families like this is what they need. They need people like you guys who are advocating and trying to help them for no reason other than you care. Because what do you gain from this? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. And so thank you guys so much for doing that for them.
Yeah. You guys didn't know this was the article I was pulling up. You guys have been here. You have ate, slept. Everything has been this case. And it shows. And thank you, because it's probably what has helped the family take a step forward every morning when they wake up, is to know that people haven't forgotten their little girl. And people aren't going to forget her. That's one thing. Okay, more and more of us are connecting onto the case, and it's not going to be forgotten. It won't. And this year, he took the helm of planning the vigil. For the 20th anniversary, I didn't want to let it go by without doing something, Meyer said. It seemed that everyone felt it went well. David Humphrey, the founder and chief executive officer of the Alabama Alliance for Human Trafficking and Child Safety, attended and spoke to the attendees about using situational analysis to prevent children being endangered. Candlelit lanterns were released to honor Paulk as Dancing in the Sky played. I love that song. Meyer states that the investigators who were in attendance seemed hopeful that there will be updates about this case in the future. I want everyone to know this case is unsolved, Davis said. The one responsible has never been held accountable. I wonder how many other children he has hurt and murdered. We never thought anything like this could happen to our family, but it did. And we need justice for her. So we've got Avery backstage again. So let me bring Avery back up.
I'm so sorry about that.
No, girl. Trust me. There's a reason why I don't usually go live from my phone. Everyone always tries to you live in Hawaii, go live while you're out there. I'm like, no, Wi-Fi sucks.
Yeah, that shows you how far out it is, because I was even trying to connect to my vehicle Wi-Fi, to my Wi-Fi in my vehicle, and it wasn't letting me. But I was going to tell you, I see you have some other people in here. I guess they must be in the area. And if they don't want to, I don't mind like going back tomorrow during the day, or and just doing like a pre-recorded video to show you guys.
That would be wonderful.
And then she's actually buried like 3 miles from my house. She's buried in Millbrook, in Brookside. And so it's actually like 3 miles. But I think I just got so excited to see that somebody was covering her. And so I was out driving and I'm like, well, I'm going to go show him. I just got so excited to see her name, because I've asked so many cold case YouTubers to cover her or look into it, and they just don't ever want to.
It's one of those, even with us, we tend to get focused on those right then, and we forget there's these
Yeah.
people with that
But
they deserve justice also. But yeah,
but
I
I
think
feel
it'd be
like
great.
yeah, I feel like if you guys could see it during the day, because I know you couldn't see it really well, but if you could just see like how industrious that area is,
Right,
then it would
right.
probably make you think like me, if it's not somebody in that trailer park or somebody from one of those nearby plants, then it was somebody traveling down that major highway and
Right.
probably seen her, out playing or walking. And
Mhm.
but in the area where she was found 20 years ago, this is really bad to say, but 20 years ago, Clanton, which is about 10 miles north. This is so bad to say. I can't believe we won't say this.
We
But
all have our communities.
yeah, but 20 years ago, it was a thing that if you were a Black person, that even if you were running out of gas, no matter what, you did not pull over at the Clanton exit.
Yeah.
And
No.
so
That's
it's,
sad because it was so
yeah,
so much racial tension.
right.
That's really sad.
And so it
And that
makes me think that because she was dropped off of, because you'd have to take it would be off of the Clinton exit and then out into the woods is where the hunters found her. Well, 20 years ago, it makes me think it would have had to have been a white man, because had it been a Black man, he would have stood out like a sore thumb.
that makes sense. That
So, I
makes
mean,
sense
those are just my
actually.
thoughts.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
stuff that, like, people from that area,
We
I would
wouldn't
have
have caught it.
never known that, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so that's I appreciate you so much, Avery. So much
Yeah.
for doing this
Yeah,
for us.
Oh, yeah,
Avery, and this
absolutely.
is it makes it when we start seeing the area, we start seeing stuff about who she was. We
Hmm.
hear how it affects the community. That's how we keep her name in the public,
Yeah.
because she becomes real. Not just, we talk about this, Sleuth Burden and I talk about this all the time. It's not just a picture anymore.
Hmm.
It's a real person. It affected everyone. And because of
Oh, yeah.
that, you can't just drop it just because the case is old.
Yeah.
No.
And the
So,
rumors that went around before they found her, it was so bad. It was things like her dad had buried her under a like a concrete
Jesus.
driveway, and then there was a a picture that went around of a little girl that looked similar to her that was laying with another child, and they were kind of like on the floor of a basement, and they looked like they were tied up. And people swore that was her and swore her parents had sold her. I mean, it was so bad. And
Nothing changes.
I'm pretty
Mm.
sure, I'm pretty sure the mom, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure the mom moved away because of all of it. I don't think she lives here anymore, but I think the dad lives close by. But I
Okay,
might be
got it.
wrong.
Right, right. And you know what? It's sad because that's never changed. People immediately start pointing fingers and they're so cruel.
Hmm.
I mean, people can get so cruel. I mean, we just listened to that at Burden. I know you want to say something. I want to let you say something there, but we just saw the dad talk.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, Burden, what were you going to say there?
I was just going to say it's the same thing, but now we have internet access. And so it's the entire world, not just the community. You've got the whole world putting in their input, and people that are seeing these cases and then going to the place, to the community, and
Right.
disrupting the entire community, all the neighbors, the household, everybody. And like, so it's the same thing, but just a larger scale now. And it's vicious and
Yeah.
uncalled for.
Absolutely. I remember when it happened, I was still married then, and my daughters were 3 and 1. And I remember, because my ex-husband is who brought me to Alabama. And I remember asking him, should we be concerned? And I remember him specifically saying, no, that's that trailer park. I think he may have used the word like ghetto trailer park
Yeah.
people, like, basically saying it's only going to happen, in an area like that. I
Right.
always thought that was so crappy, which I ended up divorcing him because I didn't like him anyhow. But
Good for you.
but yeah,
But yeah,
he was like, no, we don't have to worry about it because we don't live in a trailer park type deal, you know.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. And yet it can happen to anyone, but it's easier to close our mind, close our eyes, and point that it's going to be somewhere else. Well, guess
mhm,
what? It's like Sleuth knows this. Okay, there was a precious little girl who was killed by her adoptive parents just a couple miles away from me.
mhm.
Okay, it happens anywhere.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I'm also, by the way, Cold Truth just asked if you could join the Facebook, Avery. I'm going
Oh
to
yeah.
post it there. And if you feel like it, yeah, it'll be there for you to join.
Oh yeah,
I think you're
definitely.
talking the Justice one, but yeah.
I
And
didn't
this
know
is
there was
actually
a
everywhere.
Facebook group, so yeah, I definitely will.
I just joined
And
it myself today, actually.
and I'll
So it
be
looks
I'll
great.
be at her memorial if Cold Truth or is it Westmeister? If
Westminster.
Yeah, if either of them are there, I will be there. If they just want to email me, my email's on my channel. If they want to email me and let me know, I'd be happy to meet them there.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. So, do you have a channel, Avery?
I do. It's Avery Shannon.
Okay, I got to get that one in there too. Let me find you here somewhere. And also, I can share that out with people too. Oh, you
Hold
do
on.
right
Got it.
there. You
Yeah,
got, okay,
Sleuth
thank you.
Sleuth Mom was asking me if I had ever covered this on my channel, and I was putting in the chat I hadn't because, like, if it's a local and it's one of who we might be thinking it is,
Yeah,
those are not the people that a single woman like me needs to piss off living right
no,
in the area. And so
I get you.
I've been so hesitant to ever cover it on my own channel as much as I want to.
Right,
But a lot of people
right.
around here know that I have a channel, and then,
It's good to protect yourself first. It really
It's,
is.
yeah.
yeah,
I actually this morning, like I said, there was a serial killer on Kauai when I used to live in Kauai, and I thought, oh, cold case, this is the perfect time for me to bring it up. And I'm like, no, no, because there's connections there where they think the guy was actually tied to someone with the Kauai Police Department and all these. And I'm like, okay, yeah, probably not the best person for me to cover. So I get you. I
oh
completely
yeah,
understand.
Yeah.
You got to be
That's happened to
safe.
me too before, that I've had
Hmm.
people reach out and ask me if I could cover a case or whatever. And the one, it's like literally, 25 minutes from my house. And she's been unfortunately missing for a while. But whenever you start looking at it and you look at who the suspect is, and you look at like where he lives and like all the things that he's already been involved with, it's like, yeah, being this close and being doxxed already in the past, like I don't want
Yeah.
to I don't want
right.
to potentially get that guy coming to my house,
Oh
so
yeah, exactly, exactly.
I had
And
actually, I think it was last year when the situation happened with Kamari Holland. I had actually rode over there because where they found the man was Phoenix City, and so it's literally just right down the road from my house. And I was just kind of standing around just looking. I knew he'd been arrested and I knew they'd found Kamari's body. And next thing I know, I am surrounded by a crowd of people that I did not need to be around. I
Wow.
mean, talk about awkward and uncomfortable.
oh,
Literally, I was in like, I didn't even know, but I was in a drug area, like a bad area.
I believe it. If it was
right.
associated to him and his past address, and I
Yeah.
can
Yep.
only fathom what you saw when you were there.
Oh yeah, it
Oh
was
yeah.
it was his past address, and he's in
Oh yeah.
Alabama. He's in Alabama. She's in Georgia because he crossed lines into Alabama with
Right.
Kamari.
Exactly.
I do want to go because I think it's going to be a death penalty case,
Hmm.
and
I
also
agree.
Cassie Carley's ex-husband is Cassie was found 25 miles north of my house. I went out and did the search for her all the way from Navarre, Florida, up here. And I would like to cover him, Marcus Spanavello.
Hmm.
I feel more safer covering that one
And
than
yeah,
Kamari's killer, but goodness gracious, yeah, you got to be really careful.
Kamari was one of those that got me. And I felt fairly safe because, yeah, I live thousands of miles away. And, but yeah, no, that was one of the cases. You know, there's certain ones that just, when they hit you, yeah, there's no way of pulling yourself away from it. That Kamari
And
was
it's so different when you get to go walk the area of where something happened.
Yeah.
Avery, I would have been, I was a mess just hearing when they did the press conference in detailed. I lost it here and I could hardly talk on stream. So to go and be there where she was taken, like I would have been so emotional, but then you've got those people that you're like clearly not safe and wow.
Right. It's like I was saying, I still get goosebumps when I go to, I mean, I don't like go to Candlestick Trailer Park very often, but you know, just if I'm in the area, and I would just, you know, just kind of like ride through and just think about her. And I will get, I'm serious, the hairs on my legs will grow every dang time. Something different about just being there.
It's, yeah. Well, you can, everything that you just hear about and read about, you're now almost in a way living to some degree. You're there. You're seeing the same trees that she saw. You're seeing the same places she walked around, and it just changes. It becomes more than just a picture all of a sudden. You realize it's real. This is real.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. People don't see too many times. Okay, and I know I'm getting on my own little soapbox here, but too many people forget that these are real things. These are not just stories to go telling people. They're real things that need solved. They need justice. They need those things. So,
and it's amazing like how different things are, because 20 years ago when that happened with Shannon, it was nothing, you know, 20 years ago, it was nothing for kids to, you know, her age to be out playing, even with that big highway right in front, even with all the woods. It was nothing. But like now, you know, here we are 20 years later, my 12-year-old son isn't going to be playing in the woods or, you know, going near a highway. And I'll just look at like all those woods and just wonder, you know, like, did he pull up, you know, like, did he come into the trailer park? Was it a neighbor that had lived there that she knew? Was it somebody pulled on that industrial highway? Oh, I'll drive myself crazy thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your mind starts going all over the place, and that is one of the things. Okay, all of us kind of get into that when we start looking at cases and stuff. We'll get talking about it behind the scenes because a lot of times we try to stick to the facts here.
Oh yeah.
And but then your head, you can't help it. In fact, I've said before, okay, I'll say things knowing that the family is here, but knowing, you know what, I'm not saying anything the family hasn't thought about themselves.
Right.
And which is what's so bad. Burden, did you have something you were going to say? I saw you unmute.
Yeah, I was going to say that your mind will kind of run in a circle. You start with one possibility and then it kind of goes to another one and another. And next thing you know, you're kind of back at one again, but you can mix them. And by the time you're done thinking on it and you pull yourself back from it, you are so confused because there's so many possibilities and it's just devastating, every one of them, no matter what. And then, I understand the drive yourself crazy part. I totally get that.
And that's how we feel covering the cases.
Yeah.
Imagine the families.
Oh,
Because
I
we
couldn't.
shut our computers and it's gone for a while. We might think about it here and there and like ponder about what we need to look up next and things like that. But they're living this. For, 20 years now.
Yeah.
For sure.
They walk by the bedroom.
22.
Okay. They walk by, the laundry. They walk by all these things. And I just saw what Wes was saying. The kids used to crawl through the drainage pipe under the park and pop out on the median. Wow. And see, those are things, that's how I grew up. Those are the things I used to do growing up. Okay. And kids just, they don't get to do that stuff. crawdad hunting.
And see, it's things like that that takes my mind back to somebody traveling along that industrial highway,
Yeah.
seen a kid, kept on going north. I just hope
Yeah.
someday that they are able to find who did it.
Yeah. Well, each time her story is told, you get one more person who knows her story.
Yeah.
Okay. And the more that know her story, the more pressure can come on. You're coming up, I think her birthday's coming up in May, I get, if I remember right. And also making sure those are the times, talking as much as we can and pushing.
Yeah.
Because it amazes me that they are holding out on the DNA and stuff like that right now.
Yeah,
Something's got to give.
See, I hadn't heard that. I had seen it in your chat. Now, I haven't been out and about too much for the past several weeks because I was in my first ever car accident a few weeks ago. I just started driving again. And so I really haven't been out and about, and I didn't know any of this. The last time I had talked to the cold case division, I thought that they were running DNA that they had pulled from
I think, are you using a headset, Avery?
Oh, no, actually, I think it's still coming through my car speaker. Hang on.
Okay, no worry. It's cool. We can still hear you. It's just, it went into a different mode. And yes, I am pulling up Cold Truth's case. Wait, I still have her channel right here for me. And mods, feel free to share any of the links. You guys know, I trust y'all. I got the best mods because I share them with a lot of people too. Mercy, who we're talking about is actually a cold case from 2001. Shannon Paulk. She was an 11-year-old who disappeared and was later found murdered. And we happen to have here, Avery actually lives in the area and popped up on panel to give us a little tour of the area. And we've got a bunch of people in chat right now who've been working the case and trying to be her voice. It's what I always say in my little thumbnails. Together we can be their voice. That's what everyone here is doing. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to hop down and go make sure my son has brushed his teeth and done all the things he needs to do.
You got it.
I'll be in the chat, but I will get your email off your channel. And
I just also shared it in private chat. If you click on private chat, I sent you a little message there. And let's get together and we'll try to figure out some way because if we can keep her name out there and see what we can do on pushing again.
Definitely.
Thanks for popping up and helping out and going for the drive and all the things. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah. Anytime. But I'll be down in the chat. You guys have a great night.
Good night, Avery.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Avery. Yeah, Avery, that was awesome. Really awesome. I mean, I actually asked the gals at background because usually we do the panel things. I'm like, oh, this looks, and I'm so happy we had you come up and the people in chat. So I do want to share Cold Truth's link again. There's Cold Truth for those of you, if you guys can. Oh, Grand Bun took care of it. She's awesome. She's so awesome. So, well, let me ask this. We're kind of coming down on our time here. We usually try to keep it limited to an hour, hour and a half. What's your two? Now, I know none of us have tons and tons of information on this, but right now, with everything you're hearing and stuff like that, what are your guys' thoughts about what happened that night or day?
I don't know, but I could very well see how it could have been targeted, but it would have been because of like a target to the children that play in that area. And she was the one chosen out of those that were playing. And so I could kind of see a targeted, still, I leave the option open. If there's somebody that could be responsible for a bunch of these, especially if it is such a small community, that is very suspicious that you would have that many that lose their life all kind of within a chunk of years there. And so I do still kind of want to look into those different dates and stuff and kind of look further.
Yes.
But I don't know. I feel for her father really, really badly. Like his heartache and him feeling guilt, it just makes me so sad for him because I know that a lot of parents will feel that. And they always, even if there's nothing they could have done and they had no control and it was completely outside of them, they still live with that because at the end of the day, they're the parent. They were the provider and the protector. And I appreciate everybody that has been looking at the case, covering it, doing different things each year. And so that's important, I think, really on all cases. And there's just so many out there. But yeah,
Exactly.
I totally don't know. I don't know.
Nope,
I
and that's
just
good. Actually,
tragic.
that's what I love about you two gals. Okay, you don't run and say, "Yeah, this happened." You realize, hey, we only have a small amount. Even if we have everything that's out there, it's still not everything because the
Right.
police have stuff that we don't have.
Mhm.
And so, no, good one, Burden. What about you, Sleuth? Any thoughts
No, I
on it?
agree with that too. There's still always that sliver of a chance that it's the FedEx guy, right?
Yep.
The person
Exactly.
that's never been suspected. And I swear that's one thing that Athena's case taught me was that it could literally be anyone. And so no
Yep.
matter how much evidence there is that points to, the guy on the wall, it's not just what we can prove, but what can be proven in court. And I think that's probably more so along the lines of what Shannon's case is dealing with based off of things that I have read in the chat tonight. Um, just the fact that they denied identifinders coming in to assist with the DNA tells me they might know. And they might not have told the public. They might not have said, hey, we have a DNA match. Because regardless of if they have that DNA match, can they prove it? Especially if it was a house that she had gone to frequently or somebody that she had visited with frequently. There could be reasons or things that they can use as a defense, from a defense standpoint, to throw out and roll out that DNA aspect of things. So it would depend on, of course, what type of DNA, blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just really hope that we see more closure in these cases. And I know that it's happening, and so I have faith that this one's gonna be solved. I feel it. I would say probably next 5 years, if it doesn't happen tomorrow, I think that they're close.
And I think that's, where it comes down to it. I think they are getting, it does have the feeling like it is getting closer and closer. It definitely, the police seem to be caring about this case. It's not like one of those cases that's gotten thrown off completely. They're there. They're trying to make sure they're following up on it. Okay. If they needed to extend the grand jury, they were doing all that. Yes, I think there's some people in where she locally lived that definitely needed looked at, but there's always that chance of someone coming in. Okay. But I think the police care in this case. The thing that comes down right now is justice for her and her family. Her parents are getting older, if you think about it. Okay. Her parents are grandparents now. And they should be given the opportunity to have justice in their lifetime. And I hate to go that direction, but they do. It always kills me inside when I see a family member who passes away, always wondering. And I think we're close. I think we are close, but we just need to keep pushing at this point.
And I agree.
So.
Monica said, they should say who they think it is for the community's sake.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they can't prove it, then you get into, is it okay to just ruin somebody's whole life? You know what I mean? But at the same time, whenever you're looking at, could this person go out and hurt more kids? I don't know. I guess it would just depend on the evidence that they have against them.
Right.
And also, right, to see kind of if they have an idea who, do they have a past record? Or could they be somebody that
trusted in the
they
community?
Right, exactly. Or could they be a flight risk? And so they'd rather keep it under wraps and know that once they get what they need, they can get them instead of there being a Brian Laundrie or any of that happening.
Exactly. Yeah. I know, like the guy with Kauai, okay, that almost everyone thinks did it. Okay, they kept finding reasons to cut his parole short because he was in jail for something else. And it just so happened every single time he got out on parole, there would be some sort of violation that got him right back into jail until finally the point where they could not he maxed out and they couldn't do that any longer. But you could see the police were trying to do whatever they could to get this guy safe so that people in the community hopefully were safe. And there's been no more murders since the early 2000s now. So, but yeah, no. So hopefully, I'm really hoping we get this. I do want to say, guys, this has been probably one of my favorite panel chats that we've had in a long time, because community has come together, because this is what all of us do this here for, is that people come together because they care about something. They want to be someone's voice that doesn't have that voice anymore. And when I'm looking at this chat right now, this chat has been full of people who are using their voice and speaking up for other people. And there's, it's just amazing looking at it. People who are willing to jump in their car and drive to give people an idea tonight. Other people who are sitting here sharing information because they know the more of us who know this stuff, the better the chance is of justice happening someday. So I really want to say thanks. Yeah, Burden.
Like being a voice, and there's multiple of them. You know, multiple voices are more likely to be heard than just one. And I mean, even whether it's something online that we're doing and we're showing the case, or somebody that's selfless enough like Avery to be in her car and say, I'm going to be her voice right now. Here we go. I'm going to show you and be the eyes for you to see and kind of piece this all together. And I agree. It's all about the community coming together and being able to help get the word out on what has happened to these victims and their families, and be there when it does come around that we can get justice. Justice can be served.
It can be. And I saw one other thing that I saw today was a bridging between Facebook and YouTube. We don't see that often where you really have that bridging between the two things happening. And we saw that today. I know Chris, I'm going to say you've been amazing. The way you speak up for those with cold cases. Okay, I look up to that. I actually do look up to that. So continue doing what you're doing. But those people who have been like, okay, Wes just says, more on the Facebook side than YouTube. I'm more on the YouTube than the Facebook side. And, but we're all moving in one direction. So thank you guys so much for that. And I will definitely talk with Avery and all and see if we can come up with some things so we can remember and keep her name, Shannon's name, in the public eye. And also, but I want to say thank you.
It'd be so cool to get Avery and Cold Truth, and we'll just all come together and do another. Yep.
Yes.
I would love that.
I love it.
I would absolutely love that.
Well, we'll have to get all of us together and do some talking and see what we can do on, because that's what we all have, our different groups of people that we speak to. We can spread the story. We can spread her picture and all that, and it'll make such a big difference. Yeah, I think that'd be great if we can pull that off and all. So, but thank you again, Avery. Thank you for driving around tonight. I really appreciate it. I never expected you to step up and offer that. So thank you so much for that. Gals, anything last you want to say before I close up for the night?
No, I'm glad that we covered her case. Good that Chris was mentioning it and then you picked up on it. And there's so many that are out being voices. And I agree with Sleuth. It does feel like they're close. I do feel a sense of closeness with this, of closure, or answers at least. And then the next step begins. And so, yeah, I agree of us all trying to get together and do something. That sounds fantastic. That would be really great. Really great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Burden. So Burden and Sleuth, anything for you, Sleuth, you want to say before I finish up?
No, I don't think my voice will let me say too much more. So.
I can hear yours disappearing slowly. So, and well, thank you to you gals. I missed doing this last week, so I'm happy that we're back onto our schedule, even if Sleuth is losing her voice right again. And we got her back though now. So, thank you guys all of you guys for participating in chat. For those of you who are watching this on the replay, please take a second, put a comment down in the comment area. It makes a difference with the algorithm, and we can get more and more people seeing Shannon's story. So please take a second to do that. Hit the thumbs up, whatever you can do, just so that we can keep her name up there. And you can see Burden, pretty much she's Burden and Sleuth every single day doing stories. So check out their 2 channels. Okay, they've been covering some really good stories lately, so please check those out. Otherwise, for me, I will see you for Mental Health Friday coming up in just 48 hours. If you guys have some subjects you'd like me to talk about, please let me know. Otherwise, I will be picking something out of a hat. And then Cantina, of course. And definitely, Chris, oh, wait, that's between you guys, so that sounds great. I will talk to all y'all later. Aloha, mahalo, and see you guys on Friday. Bye-bye. Aloha, gang.